Hey guys, today I'm doing a video of this circa 1910 to 1912 Westinghouse alternating current tank motor fan. Now I've always wanted a tank motor fan for quite a while now. They're one of my favorite of the earlier large cast iron fans made just after the turn of the 20th century. And I finally have one. Now this is a very special tank because you'll see on the tag there it's 230 volts, 50 cycles. And you also may have noticed it said Manchester, England there. Manchester, England had a plant open up in 1905, which was a subsidiary of the Westinghouse Corporation in the United States. And they made a number of Westinghouse motors and these particular fans, the tank motor fans, in that plant for a short period of time. So there aren't very many of these Manchester-made tanks that I've seen surface. I know there's one that surfaced in Australia, and there are 3 I know of in the United Kingdom. But they aren't too common, so I'm pretty lucky to have this particular tank. I actually found this one down here in New Zealand at the very southern tip of the South Island of New Zealand, and it was obviously not in this condition. It had been very poorly restored in the past. It had a very matte finish spray paint covering the fan, and all the black background on the badges and stuff had been removed. The brass had been polished and over time had taken on a patina once again, but I could obviously tell it was not the original 110 plus year old patina that the fan should have had. So I fully restored this fan. I'm usually not a big fan of restoring things. I like leaving them in there in basically the condition I find them. But this one needed it. It had several breaks in the cage. The switch down there was completely missing. A number of bolts and nuts and such were missing for the fan, but thanks to some very kind AFCA members who helped me out by selling me some of these parts, I was able to complete this fan. Now probably the most difficult part of the restoration of this fan was winding a coil for it. Because the 220 volt tanks are so scarce, I was not able to get resistance readings for a coil, to wind a resistance coil for the fan. So this was my first rewind of anything really, and I also had to rewind it from a 110 volt fried Westinghouse tank motor coil to a 220 volt coil. Basically I doubled the number of turns of the original 110 volt coil and halved the cross-sectional area of the of the wire used on the new coil, and that ended up working just fine. It draws slightly less amps and noticeably drops the RPM on low speed compared to high speed. And I've ran it for a while. It doesn't heat up. It runs beautifully. So for my first electrical rewind of really anything, it was a success, I'd say. I had to repair some breaks in the cage. The blades were pretty bent up and the hub was detached. It's still not perfect, but over time I feel my restorations are slowly getting a little better. My skill seems to progress with each one, and hopefully one day I'll be able to have the incredible skill of machining new brass parts and other things like that, like the amazing things I see some of the people over on the Antique Fan Collectors Association do. Anyway, back to this fan. Turn it to the side here. I picked it up on the South Island. I actually booked a flight, flew down there, and picked it up and flew back with it in my hands pretty much. And so this is basically the alternating current stationary version of my direct current vane fan. They would have been sold around the same time. The vane was literally just an oscillating version of this fan. back there. I love the motor on these fans. And another look at the tag there. Turn it back to the front. And this is also my first antique fan with a centrifugal switch, which is very cool. So we'll start it up on low. Might have seen the spark in there as it disengaged. Move up to high. Got a nice breeze coming out of it. Not quite as powerful as my direct current tank or vane fan, but it's also nowhere near as loud as that one either. And off. You'll hear the centrifugal switch re-engage there. Alright, thanks for watching.